y'all, we got another video here. This millionaire, Jordan Welch, is gonna explain how he got rich with just $100. Let's see.
$10 million at just 27 years old. But if I had to start over today from scratch with just
10 mil, damn.
$100 to my name, this is exactly what I would do to get rich again. And look, I'm speaking from experience here because I actually started with less than 100 just over 10 years ago. I started my journey a few years ago as a young kid coming from literally nothing. My mom used to make minimum wage and we lived paycheck to paycheck. I hustled my way through years of trial and error, starting every business you could think of, from selling clothes, reselling, drop shipping, software, YouTube. I've tried it all. And through this, I developed a blueprint that can take anyone from zero to generating their first million in just a couple years. And I'm gonna break it down today. But it all starts with making your first $10,000. You need to hit that first 10,000 as fast as possible. And the fastest way to get there is not by starting a business. Look, businesses are expensive. Not only do they cost a lot of money, but they cost a lot of time, and more importantly, they require a high level of skill that you probably don't have at this point in your life. This is something I wish someone told me when I was first starting out, because I spent way too many years throwing every penny and every hour I had into mediocre business ideas that would make a couple dollars and then reset me back to zero all over again. I stayed in this cycle for years, and this cycle kept me broke for so long and was counterproductive in my goals of getting rich. And now 10 years later, looking back at it, I realize it's because I was stubborn. And it's very likely that you are also being stubborn. Let me explain. I see this happen all the time where people make it up in their mind that they are going to become an entrepreneur, and I think that that's amazing, but what happens is that it ends up creating a massive ego inside of them to feel that the only way that they want to earn money is through a successful business, and they don't have the humility to go and work a job. They don't have the humility to go and wash somebody's car for a couple $100. They only want to get rich through some app or through some crazy website. This is a mistake, and if you have this ego, you need to get rid of it immediately or you're gonna stay broke for the rest of your life. The fastest way to go from zero to $10,000 is with unleveraged side hustle based work. I know it sounds confusing, but I'll make it really easy to understand. When I say unleveraged, I mean doing work that is completely reliant on you and your time. Some examples of this are working a 9-to-5 job, doing a physical side hustle like DoorDash or mobile detailing, or doing a digital side hustle like being a TikTok shop affiliate. And these things are not fun, these things are not sexy, but they will get you to that first $10,000 in no time, faster than just about anything else. And if I was starting over today, this is where I would direct the majority of my attention. Because to start a business, you need to first have a little bit of freedom, and you need to get there by stacking up a little bit of money in your pocket. It also costs money to start a business, and instead of just waiting for somebody to invest in your company or going to get a loan from the bank, it's infinitely better if you can stack up your own startup capital. In the early days of my journey, I stacked up my startup capital from doing reselling, buying and selling stuff for a higher price. I stacked up some startup capital from going out and doing side jobs, helping people with their computers, helping people with marketing. I made some extra money on the side by doing video editing. Any hustle that I could do to get extra money in my pocket to invest in my business, I was doing it. And you need to be doing it as well. There's no shame in having a 9-to-5 job. In fact, the real key is to combine two of the things that I mentioned to you above. I suggest that you go out and get a real job, and in your free time, lock in on a digital or physical side hustle that will build you a skill that we're gonna use later on to start a leveraged and scalable business. And I'm gonna explain this more a bit later, but pretty much all your free time outside of your 9-to-5 is going to go towards acquiring new skills, because skills are what will unlock your potential to earn more money. And this is one of the biggest lessons I wish I learned at the beginning of my come up. For example, after you work your 9-to-5 job, if you come home and you start posting TikToks to start making money on TikTok Shop Affiliate, after doing this for long enough, you're gonna get pretty good at making those videos. And now you're going to have a skill that you can go on to sell for thousands of dollars to companies all around the world, which I'm gonna give you a formula to do that in the next phase. But look, the biggest thing that's gonna hold you back in this stage of your journey is bad habits and a bad mindset. Not only do people hold themselves back because of their ego, but their spending and lifestyle habits keep them crippled in this phase for the rest of their lives. And trust me, I've been there before too. At this stage, I'm sober off of weed for over 2 years, but I used to be a daily weed smoker. When I made a little bit of money, that was the first thing I would spend my money on. And accordingly, I would go and order a bunch of food, and I would spend money on dumb stuff just to keep up with this habit that I developed. This not only messed with my pockets, but it messed with my mindset. Most of the people that have less than $10,000 have these habits that are holding them back in their life. And I think weed is one of the worst ones. I actually made a whole video about it. But if you're in this journey, you need to be vigilant about cutting out these toxic habits. Doom scrolling, smoking weed, drinking alcohol, eating junk food. Because if you can push past these things and do the work every day, I promise that you'll be able to save $10,000 quickly, even in just a couple months. And once you get there, everything will start to take off. At least it did for me. Now look, going from 10,000 to 50,000 is simply a matter of getting so good at one skill that you can sell it for a lot of money. Let me tell you what I think are the 3 most valuable skills that you should lock in on. First and foremost, we got AI. Now, if you are ignoring AI and you are not using it in your workflow, you're actually being stupid. Everything and everybody in the next 30 years is going to be replaced by AI. But the way AI currently stands is that without human input, it's basically worthless. What's gonna happen is companies, and this is already happening, companies want to use this technology in their business, in their workflow, but they don't understand how to do it. So therefore, these people are paying tens of thousands of dollars to anyone who can help implement AI into their workflow. I see this countless times. In fact, I have a friend of mine who's 18 years old. He's making over $250,000 a month selling AI services to local businesses. It's absolutely insane. He just graduated high school, and all he's doing is calling local businesses and telling them that he will save them time and make them more money by implementing AI into their workflow. And these guys are paying him anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 per deal. AI is the equivalent to what the internet was in the 90s. Right now, it's still super early. And if you can begin mastering this thing, and I'm not saying going out and becoming a developer and learning how to build AI programs. No, I'm saying learning how to create good prompts, learning the capabilities of AI, and learning how to implement it, especially in specific industries, your price goes up. You actually are gonna be somebody that will be paid thousands of dollars per client if you can master this skill set, just like my friend that I told you about. So the first skill that everybody should be focused on learning and immersing themselves in is AI. Now you might be thinking, how do I learn about this stuff? Well, YouTube is the best thing in the world. You guys are watching me right now on YouTube. All the major skills that I learned in my life, I got my start on them through YouTube, and then just going out and using them. I got really good with ChatGPT in the last 6 months just by using it every single day. I know how to prompt it. I know how to make it do what I need it to do. And I've been able to start to push it more to its limits instead of just asking it to make me a grocery list. So start with YouTube tutorials and then just get your hands dirty and start using these tools. Get very familiar with them because these tools are what's going to run the world in the next 3 years. And if you know how to control them, you will be worth millions. Now let's talk about the second most important skill, which is viral content. In my opinion, attention is the most valuable form of currency that we have today in the modern era. Even billion-dollar companies cannot figure out how to get attention. Go to Target's YouTube channel, for example. These guys are not even getting 1 million views per video, and it's Target. Target is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's also something that AI is struggling to replace. Yes, there are viral AI videos. I'm sure we've all seen the brain rot AI videos, but in general, AI still hasn't been able to crack the code on content. It's still very human-led, especially if you can learn how to bridge the gap between the AI and the content. You become a force of nature and your services just become priceless. But in general, understanding how to make a video that gets people's attention for free through short form, through long form, this, in my opinion, is one of the strongest skill sets you can have. Everybody wants to have a personal brand now. Every business wants to dominate social media now. So if you have the ability to do that, you can make a lot of money. But the last and most important skill of the three is sales and marketing. Because without this, you have nothing. What I mean is that you could literally be the best AI guy and the best viral content guy, but if you do not know how to sell your services, if you do not know how to make a website, if you do not know the basics of marketing, doing it, I mean it. The best way to learn sales is gonna be from trying to get on sales calls and sell your AI services. The best way to learn marketing is going to be to look at an example of a successful video ad and try to recreate that to get it to go viral for your business. You're never gonna learn these things from a book. You're only gonna learn these things through execution. The best part is once you become competent in any of these three skills, you can offer your services to other businesses and charge anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month, sometimes even more, like my friend that I told you about before. This is not the most scalable model, but by far it is the fastest and most launching your business. But two stages are, business is where you are selling a product that sells itself, where you don't have to physically be there on every single sale. For me,
Okay. So I think I kind of get the gist of this video. He's kind of just talking about kind of focusing up. It's like find something you're good at and then repeat. And then once you're able to repeat it, it's like your money is going to start small, it's going to grow, and like the better you get, the better your chances are of making more money.
if I just had watched this video and hit the subscribe button, I probably wouldn't have been in that situation. So
Okay, yeah. I see what he's talking about. Okay, so this is the end of this video.